again, Broncos country.
Really excited to chop up some Broncos with you all this week.
Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS.
Favorite time of the week. We're not for the Raiders, Chargers, or Chiefs. So grab your brews in your fantasy league. We got that blue and orange blood that you bleed. The most loyal fans there ever could be. We are that mile high Broncos country.
Orange Weekly, fans, brews, and Broncos news. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Orange Weekly Postgame Podcast. Tonight, it's me and John. Johnny boy, how you doing, good sir?
Well, I could be a lot better, Kevin. I'm just glad that I'm still seeing straight today after that game. But the fact that we're doing this on the same day after a game like that, I'm proud of us that we're able to do this right now.
Yeah, I haven't had time to process my emotions yet, and it's tough. This one's going to be tough to talk about because usually when we do it, the day after, I can look at it with some clarity and I don't let my emotions get to me. But I don't know. I might lose a little bit tonight. We'll see.
Yeah. Usually, a night's sleep really gives me time to think it over and be like, okay, let's look at what really happened here. What were the good? What were the bad?
Right.
We don't have that,
and we usually have some more updates on injuries and stuff by then too, which
is true as well.
It's going to be a very condensed week to begin with the Colts coming to town on Thursday. Obviously, we'll break more of that down in the Tuesday night show and the pregame podcast. But let's do what we normally do, John. Let's go back, rewind a few hours, and think about what was going through our minds right before the game. So I know we did the pregame show, the tailgate talk, but kind of remind everyone what you had.
Yeah, seeing a lot of you today, Kevin.
Right.
I wish I felt good about that, but
hey, now
I don't. I don't, because I have to talk about the Broncos after that game. But no, before the game, it was all about talking about progress. Let's see some progress here. We looked like we had shored some things up from a coaching staff perspective going into last week, after the game against the 49ers. And we just wanted to see the offense kind of show up a little bit, right? I wasn't really worried about the defense at all going into this game. After the way they played against the 49ers. I thought the 49ers was the test that proved that our defense was legit. So, for me, it was all about the offense coming into this game and how are they going to respond and how are they going to play. So, we'll get into that, from the get-go, how they looked. But look, going into this game against the Raiders, our biggest rival, right? It felt like we had a lot of momentum going into this game, even though our last wins were very close against, well, maybe not the 49ers, but some weaker teams in the Texans, and even a close loss against Seattle. But I felt like if we could get some things shored up from our offensive side, that we were going to, this might be a very good game for us.
Exactly. No, and I had talked about as well, like, we're going to expect them to, the Raiders to score some points in the first half, but, really looking at 3 games worth of data points, right? So not a lot, but still 3 consecutive games of, hey, once we get in the second half, defense, makes some adjustments and really, really tightens up. It doesn't really allow anything to go on in the second half. So going into half, we're down by a field goal, and I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe they'll get one more field goal, but we'll be able to manage this fairly effectively.
Yeah.
Man, and then shit hit the fan. So let's start talking, breaking down like what we saw beginning of the game. Offense is probably the big one to start talking about here. Came out and didn't look terrible, no 3 and outs or anything, but
the first drive I think was a 3 and out, and that didn't look great.
We got a first down, but
did we get a first down on that? I can't even remember.
I think so.
Yeah, you're right. We did get one first down on that one. On the first play, actually. Oh, yeah, that's right. It started out looking really solid. 15 yards to Sutton.
There it is.
And then, they kind of shut us down at that point. But it was really the second drive and on from our offense in that first half. And they looked really good on that second drive. Sutton and Wilson had a great connection going early.
They did.
I think he had 3 catches in the first quarter and most of his yards. He had that touchdown on the second offensive drive, so it felt like everything was going in the right direction. And it felt like we had cleaned up a lot of things, and it looked like we were moving in the right direction there.
Yeah. No, it was promising. Thinking back to just game number 1, game number 2. Where the offense just could not connect, right? Going out there and moving the ball early, even if it didn't result in any points on the first drive, that was a big, I think, momentum builder for them. And you definitely saw it in the later drives. They moved the ball efficiently. I think, obviously, converting instead of one of those field goals, getting a touchdown instead would have been huge. But look, I think there was improvement on the offense today. It wasn't terrible. I mean, we're all going to focus on Melvin Gordon, but, look at how much more comfortable I think Russell Wilson felt,
Yeah. No, I agree. And what I loved about that first scoring drive, that first touchdown, it started with our defense stopping them. They had minus 11 yards, a 3 and out. They were punting, I believe, from their end zone, and then we had a good return. So then our special teams came up to get involved, and Montreal Washington, he was one of the players of the game for the Broncos today for sure.
Oh, easily.
And, we're starting that drive inside Raiders territory, and then just the offense being able to finish it out for the touchdown. Like, that was, perfect. Like, you couldn't have written that better if you're a Broncos fan. So it felt like we had things really clicking and jiving in the right direction. And, once the wheels came off, it just seems like we could not recover.
Yeah.
Later in the game, obviously.
And I think that, we might be bouncing around a little bit here, but I'm okay with that. I think a lot of that comes with experience. You got to remember, this is kind of a younger team too. Players that haven't been with a quarterback of Russell Wilson's caliber, players that, haven't been in this tough of a division, or it's their first or second year, or they've never been in playoff games. Look, there's just a lot there, and I think some experience will definitely help with that. Hopefully they all learn something from this and apply it to the future. But everyone from the coaching staff down to the players. So it was. I'm disappointed, obviously, more because it's the Raiders,
right?
But looking at what just some of these stats here, so. Russell Wilson, 237-yard passing in the air and average of 9.5. So not terrible with the 2 touchdowns, one of them rushing, right? So, or 2 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown.
Yeah. Honestly, that's pretty good considering in the second half, we only had 1 offensive drive worth talking about. We did not play offense in the second half. And we can talk about why that was, and we're going to get into it, I'm sure. But the fact that he still came out with 237, actually, I was a little surprised by that. Man, I'm really bummed that Cortland Sutton connection was not continuing after the first quarter. I think he only had 2 more catches after the first quarter. Ended with 50-something yards, 55, 52.
Yeah.
I had a lot of hope after that second drive that led to a touchdown.
Well, I think the loss of Williams and benching
Mhm.
Gordon had a impact in that. You take those guys out, you don't really have to worry about Boone too much like you would Gordon or Williams. So you can put more effort. Now, I haven't obviously gone back and looked at any replays or anything. I would be curious to see if there was more double coverage or something on Sutton, because now we can shift that focus away, right? Plus, the Raiders just knew at that point we're going to have to rely more on the pass game. And I think that's why early on in the second half, we saw them run the ball a lot. I think that was trying to get the point across to the Raiders that even though it's Mike Boone, you still have to respect our run game. And that didn't work.
I thought the same thing too, but when you look at it, he only had 3 carries.
Yeah, it felt like we were running the ball.
It felt like we were running it, and we had like 2 or 3 plays back to back to back, and it was like, okay, he's actually kind of stepping up here, and then kind of went away from it. And I don't know, maybe they were just starting to see the defense, react to that. But yeah, looking at the stats, it's weird. It was a combination for me, I think, of the Gordon fumble, obviously. That was, I think, the turning point in the game. Quite frankly, even though we ended up tying it up after that, that fumble and then Javonte Williams going down, it was very clear that the coaching staff had lost faith in Melvin Gordon. I said Mike Boone had 3 carries, and Melvin Gordon only had 3 carries this game, that, and he fumbled on his first carry of the game. They were not having it after that. They still gave him the ball 2 more times on the ground after that later in the game, but he's in the doghouse a little bit, and it's crazy because Mike Boone actually had the most yards per carry of the 3 running backs. Their running game, it has not looked good the last 2 weeks, even with
it hasn't.
I don't know I don't know where that came from. That's surprising to me.
Agreed. I don't know if that's blocking on the offensive line. I don't know if that's the scheme, or if they're still learning the whole run zone scheme or what, but it is definitely a concern there. The Melvin Gordon thing is going to be really interesting. And look, I'm glad that we put him in the doghouse, and basically benched him. I think that's the perfect call in that situation. But then when your number one running back goes down,
I was surprised that they did that with Williams going down. I was like, well,
and they still refused to put him out there.
You got to put him out there, and then they put Boone out there, and they were running it with. They treated Boone like Williams for that one drive. And I was like, whoa, Gordon, uh-oh.
Well, you didn't really. The only reason I think Gordon went back out there at all really was when Boone was limping off the field and was injured for a little bit there. He came back out, but man, that says something. Like, we have such little confidence in you that we're going to roll with our 3rd string running back in a very important competitive
in a close game,
road divisional close game. We are still going to go with Mike Boone.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to dog on Mike. I'm not trying to say he sucked. I'm not right. I think he did well for what he was asking.
Yeah, for what he was asked to do.
But I'm starting to wonder, and I think this is maybe just a little too early of a question to ask, because we're going to have to wait and see what the MRI says for Williams, which, by the way, both Williams and Gregory are going to need to get MRI on their knee injuries. So we'll find out tomorrow what that looks like. But man, if you're George Payton, and this may be it doesn't need an answer right now, but maybe something to think about and watch out for. If you're a George Payton, do you look at this and say, it is time for us to move on from Gordon and get somebody else to help out Williams?
Yeah, I don't.
And is there even anyone out there? Is there a team that Is there somebody that we feel comfortable trading away? Man, I don't know. But we have seen how, and the reason I bring this up is we've seen how aggressive that George Paton can be. If you're looking at this early in the season saying, look, this season could go one of two ways right now. Do we want to pull the trigger on something now or wait and write it out? I don't know, man.
Well, the problem too with that is we have a Thursday night game, which we're going to talk more about.
Well,
too,
that's yeah.
If you're trying to bring someone in on a short week, they're not going to be ready to play.
And I don't think there's not going to be like a trade announced on Monday. No,
not going to happen. So
no,
we're kind of stuck. We're stuck with Boone and Gordon going into this week, assuming that Javonte can't go. Which I'll be honest, I'll be shocked if he can play this week. Same with Gregory. It was just two huge injuries for us, which totally blows and is like one of the main talking points we had before the game. Just don't get hurt, and here we are. But no, I think we're going to be stuck with Gordon, and I'm kind of hoping that was a big wake up. I mean, holding on to the football, come on, that's you're in the NFL. That's a number one priority. The problem is before the Broncos, he's just never had that. When he was with the Chargers, I don't think he was not a fumbler. Unless I'm I could be totally off on that, and please correct me if I'm wrong. But as far as I know, he's never had that as a problem, and here we are. He gave him a little bit of slack at first because of that history, but it's not looking good this season for him. Four fumbles. Luckily, we recovered two of them, but
are those four the ones that we recovered as well, or the ones that we lost?
No, two lost, two that we last week. He had two fumbles that we recovered both of them, thankfully. Yeah, because it might be a totally different story if we didn't recover those last week. Because one was I think at the 5-yard line, the other team would have been, and maybe it scored a touchdown if we didn't recover that off that one play.
Right.
So he's a little bit fortunate that we got both of those. Now, I've talked before on our shows how unlucky the Broncos have been when it came to recovering fumbles, our own and the opponents. But it is to the point where it's becoming a real problem with Melvin Gordon. On his first carry of the game, too. Come on.
So here you go. Really quickly, I pulled this up. Back from 2015, he had 5 fumbles. In 16, he had 2. Then 1, then 0. Then his last year with the Chargers in 2019, he had 3. First year in 2020 with the Broncos, he had 2. Last year, he had 3. And now this year, through 4 games, he is at 4.
Yeah. So
he has already surpassed the number of fumbles that he had last year.
Not good. And let's be honest, 4 for a running back in the season is a higher number. You expect to see that from a quarterback getting sacked and causing a fumble. And we're 4 games in, and he already is at that number. So it's got to tighten up, and especially on a short week, he's got to be our lead back going into this game. We're kind of stuck with him, right?
You have to.
We're stuck there. We don't have a choice unless we're not going to have a running back.
I don't even know how you would approach that from a leadership standpoint of, man, you want to get the point across to him, but you can't destroy his confidence at the same time. You got to say, dude, you're on your last leg here. Yeah. This is a problem. But also, hey, we believe in you on Thursday night, man, how do you get that point across?
Yeah, because
otherwise, what? I'm already counting. I'll tell you right now, I'm counting him good for at least 1 fumble on Thursday. I'm calling it now.
That's not, I mean, you're right.
Because he's going to be the number 1 running back. He's going to be running it way more than Boone. If it was Williams still there, then I wouldn't be so worried. But sorry, man.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong.
Rightfully so. I don't. That should be probably the expectation right now because the percentage is just there. It's on your side.
It's there. 1 per game.
But it's so disappointing.
Yeah.
And that Go ahead, Kevin.
No. Keep going.
I was just gonna say. I mean, that was I think the turning point in the game. That with the Javonte one, and you could just see from his body language after Williams went down. he's like on the field, like, hey, like, and then to see like Boone going in, like instead of him, it's just like, oh, that's got to be a gut punch for him. And maybe it's a wake up call. I can only hope it's a wake up call for him.
Time will tell.
It's rough.
Time will tell, man.
It's rough.
Either I've already seen some people saying Gordon's going to have, just an awesome game on Thursday. He's going to ball out because he knows what's on the line.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised. I want to be optimistic, but I also don't want to I don't want to bullshit everybody out there and just be like, yeah, everything's perfect. I just don't know if I see it yet.
Yeah. He's going to have to respond to the pressure, right? Like, he's going to be under a freaking microscope as it is. And I think he was going into this game, and then to do that on your first carry is just, it sucks.
Yeah.
Hey,
one injury we haven't talked about yet that I think is, and I haven't seen an update on him. Right off the bat, PJ Locke goes down on the opening game kickoff. How big of an impact do you think that had for us today?
Well, yeah, like we said, like one of our big points in the tailgate talk was no injuries, please. And first play of the game, PJ Locke goes down, and we talked about him in the tailgate as well. As he's a solid he's one of our leaders on special teams from a coverage standpoint, and filling in for Justin Simmons as well. Him and Caden Stearns. It sucks. Right, we kind of had big injuries on in all three facets of the game today.
We did.
Between him, Gregory, and Javonte Williams, and we talked about how all three were working together really nicely on that one drive, and then now they're all, hit with the injury bug a little bit. No, it sucks. I wouldn't expect. I didn't really see what happened there in the replay.
I didn't either. I mean, concussion. I don't know if he just hit the ground hard or what. I didn't see
I didn't even see that.
But he definitely looked woozy. Even trying to get onto the cart, he was slow to get onto the cart. And after what happened to Tua, I would definitely say that he's out on Thursday night.
I would assume. I mean, anytime there's a concussion and you're out for the rest of the game, probably that's a good assumption. Yeah. So it sucks. Another injury that. Yeah, so I think it was those three, though. Am I missing?
Yep.
And we can talk about, that Randy Gregory injury and how that really affected the defense, especially on those kind of make or break drives at the end of the game. Am I missing any? Was it really just the three that I'm?
Outside linebacker Aaron Patrick was being evaluated for a concussion, but otherwise that's it.
Okay. And those are big injuries. I mean, I'm glad it's not more, right? Like three's enough.
Oh my God.
Those guys.
Now, the good thing is Justin Simmons should be returning this week. It always sounded like, he was on track for being out for 4 weeks. So assuming he can hit the practice field on Monday, maybe Tuesday, since we're playing a home game,
I think he still has.
We could see him out there.
I think he still has to miss this game.
Why?
The short-term IR, because he
missed. That would be 4 weeks, though. After tomorrow, technically, is 4 weeks.
I thought it was 4 games because he played week 1, right?
Oh crap! Maybe it is. Maybe he's.
Yeah, I think he played week 1. He got hurt week 1, right?
That's true. Yeah. Yep.
So I think he has to be out 4 games, which means he should be back next week.
Okay.
I think, and I could be
trying to get too positive here.
I honestly can't remember. But if he's back this week, that'd be great. But I think after today, I might be thinking differently. We did pretty good covering for him the last 2 weeks.
You're right.
Today might be a different situation with Stearns in there, but
yeah.
I think it was mostly the run defense that was the problem, not necessarily.
I completely agreed. I did check. You're right. The soonest he could return, Simmons could return, is the October 16th away game on Monday Night Football against the Chargers. So,
which okay, we won't have him this week. Probably a bigger factor to have him against the Chargers. So at least it gives us a little bit longer to, for him to recover.
Yeah, agreed.
So, way to get everyone's hopes up, Kevin.
Yeah. Well, it's in times like these that we really need to look at the positives in our life and the things that make us most happy. And for me, I gotta say, I'm gonna go ahead and say that's my new Raycon wireless earbuds.
Did not see that coming.
I did order some. I'm not lying about this. I'm wearing them right now.
I can see them in your ear.
I love them, man. They're fantastic. Just like everything we've talked about, through all of the podcasts I listen to and the audiobooks and just having background music while I'm working or whatnot. Finding a good pair of earbuds that are comfortable in your ear that don't hurt after a while has always been a problem for me. So, after I, read through some of these 50,000 plus 5-star reviews that these guys have, and through doing these ad reads, I said, you know what? It's time to give these guys a try. And I'm really glad I did. Look, Raycon's everyday earbuds look, feel, and sound better than ever. With optimized gel tips for the perfect in-ear fit, these earbuds are so comfortable, they will not budge. You can trust me. I'm wearing them right now. Raycons give you 8 hours of playtime on a 32-hour battery life. I've been wearing these pretty much most of today, and I haven't even gotten, any sort of low battery notice or anything. They're also priced just right. You get quality audio at half the price of other premium audio brands. And like I said, again, 50,000 5-star reviews. If you didn't hear any of the other features I was talking about, other than those optimized gel tips, also has noise isolation. It also has an earbud tap function, as well as 3 customizable sound profiles, so that you can switch between different settings based off of what sounds good on whatever movie or sound or music or whatever you're listening to. You can get the best audio out of that. So here's what you need to do to get in on this action, guys. Go to buyraycon.com today and use code TPPN15 to get 15% off your Raycon order. Again, that's promo code TPPN15 at buyraycon.com to score 15% off. Buyraycon.com, code TPPN15. Okay, started talking about our run defense was kind of the problem today. Let's move over to the defense, man. Yeah, I think that was the problem area. What'd you see there, bud?
Yeah, very frustrating. Like I said, going into this game, felt like the defense was going to be one of our stronger points. And at the end of the day, sure, we had a fumble recovery for a touchdown, but hey, they still allowed on the defensive side, 26 points? Can I do math? Mm-hmm. Yeah, 26 points.
Yep.
Not good. I mean, they hadn't, aside from Seattle, didn't allow more than 10 points in the other 2 games.
Yeah.
And Seattle only got 17. It's not like that was out of control.
Right.
So it felt like if our offense is going to score more than 20 points, we should be right in there. Like,
yeah.
And if we're going to lose the game, then it's like by a point or 2. Man, it's just frustrating to look at this score line. And yeah, I don't know what it is. Is Josh Jacobs, is he just like our kryptonite? Like, this guy just somehow knows how to get 100 yards only against the Broncos.
I don't know, man. I was feeling confident about it, just knowing Josie Jewell was back. And look, this was his second game back, so any cobwebs or rust should have been, broken off. And he looked pretty good in the last game. So I was thinking we should be okay. It may be a little bit of a problem, but we can contain it. And we couldn't.
At all.
So
5 yards a carry, 5.1. I think they set a career high, 144 yards, which honestly a little surprising to me that that's his career high, because he's been in the league for a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm honestly surprised he didn't have more against the Broncos in previous years, because for whatever reason, he knows how to play against the Broncos. 2 touchdowns, like, who's the killer? I don't get it. Because, 49ers, good running team, right? Even though it's their backup running back, still a solid running back, and they know, and he was basically splitting carries with Deebo Samuel, who's elusive, and we shut him down in the run game anyways. And
we did.
Man, Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, so why would have today been any different? Yeah. I don't know. Other than you're on the road. You got to learn how to win on the road, man. So,
oh yeah, I mean,
especially in these division games.
So we're 0-2 on the road. You can say out of 4 games. Is that going to be a problem? I don't know. Right? It's a little too early to say.
Sure.
So for people that are panicking out there because we lost to the Raiders, like keep in mind, it was a road. Like we were in Las Vegas, right? Like, and we did keep it close. Like we were only down by 2 points with 7 minutes left in the game. If we had a defensive stand there, it might have been a totally different conversation right now. But we didn't. And a lot of that is because of the running defense. I mean, they tore us apart in those last few drives on the ground, which is so frustrating because they're going to run the ball, just if nothing else, just to run out the clock. And we still didn't have an answer.
And it seemed like when we forced Derek Carr to throw, we were doing a fairly decent job of shutting that down.
Yeah.
So if there was just a way they could have found to slow the run game down just a little bit, that could have been all the difference, man. It really could have.
It probably would have been. Yeah, Derek Carr finishes with under 200 yards passing. Devontae Adams, he had 100 yards, which that matchup between him and Pat Surtain was awesome to watch.
Wasn't it?
If we talk about how the defenses struggled, it was not Pat Surtain. He had that locked down. A majority of those receptions for Adams were in zone coverage, not against Surtain. There's at least 2 or 3 that I can think of where it was like a linebacker in his zone, which was frustrating, even though he didn't go for huge yardage, but still.
Right.
But he was the only one, like if you look at the stats, like he's the only receiving threat out there that had more than 100 yards, obviously more than 100 yards, but 9 receptions. Everyone else, the second leading receiver there is Josh Jacobs, which is an issue coming out of the backfield, of course. But I mean, I think it literally came down to their run game versus our run defense from the defensive side of the ball, which defense didn't show up today, to be honest.
All right. Oh man. This one hurts, and
it does.
And the reason I say that though, man, is because in the past years, that's it. In past years, it just hurt because it was the Raiders. Like the Broncos sucked, sorry, but they were not doing well, previous years. And we lose to the Raiders, like it's the Raiders. Can we please beat the Raiders, and can we please beat the Chiefs? Right? Like that's it. And so it was disappointing because we would lose to our division rivals. This one was disappointing because, man, we're starting to see what this team can do. When things are clicking, when things are driving, when they're not getting stupid penalties, when, they're not dropping passes, when they're communicating well. And then to lose the game in the way we did with the injuries we did, that's what makes it disappointing, because now we know they have the potential to beat these guys pretty handily.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, since the start of the 2018 season, 2-7 now against the Raiders. I don't know what it is. It's like we can't beat the Raiders. We can't beat the Chiefs. We can beat the Chargers of all teams.
Well, that's because the Chargers beat themselves every time.
Right. But we're good for at least one win against the Chargers, no matter how bad our team is for some reason.
Fair.
Raiders and Chiefs, we can't beat them. I'm hoping that's going to change this year when the Raiders have to come to Mile High. Maybe we can get at least one win against the Chiefs. Hopefully 2.
I think we can because we play them later in the year. Mm-hmm. Assuming we're healthy and this team is starting to jive, like, I keep predicting November is going to be a good month for the Broncos. Once we get to November, I'm not going to say it's going to be perfect and really pretty, but I think you're going to see more consecutive, just really strong drives from the offense, continuous play from the defense, and it's going to look good, man. So
sure, I agree. The problem is our schedule is very front loaded in as far as ease of schedule goes.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Right phrasing. Right. But the last 6 to 8 games that we have they're going to be tough. Like
Yep.
plain and simple. So we need to get as far ahead of this thing as possible. And I'm not totally down on this loss. Yes, it's the Raiders, and that sucks. They're our biggest rival, and I hate them every time I see Josh McDaniels say it. I just want to punch something. If it was him, I'd love that. But obviously, I'm not in the same room as him. But I think the win last week against the 49ers gave us a little bit of breathing room there, especially with the rest of the division going down last week. They're all catching up this week, which sucks. Last I saw, the Chiefs are just manhandling Tampa Bay. I guess they're only up by 11 now, but still, they're looking pretty good there. So this game against the Colts is going to become very important for us. It's a short week, and we're going up against one of the best running backs in the NFL, best running games. Even though I mean, only because I have Jonathan Taylor on a couple of fantasy teams that he has not been producing. Thank you, Jonathan, and of course, he'll probably have a great game against the Broncos because that's how my life goes. But at least that'll give us a good indication of, shoring up that defense after a rough week against Josh Jacobs. We're going to have to prove very quickly here that we can stop the run. Luckily, it's at home. I know you're going to be at the game. I'll be at the game.
Yes, sir.
So that's going to be fun. Thursday night action there.
Yep.
So it's going to be important for this defense to rebound and quickly.
Yeah. And for anybody else who's listening, if you're going to the game and you need a place to tailgate, or even just stop by 30 minutes before you go into the stadium for the game, come by the Flagman's tailgate in the back of Lot C, the south side of Lot C. You can't miss it. He has 100 flags up. You can see it from across the parking lots, right? His name's Scott. He's super welcoming. Bring some food or some beer or something. But come on up, plenty of people. I'll be there. It's a great time had by all. So make sure you check out the Flagman and the tailgate there. Okay. Before we go into some closing thoughts, I'm sure there were some winners out there today, and I'm very happy for them because they were probably, new subscribers to DraftKings. So if you guys weren't aware, the NFL is in full swing at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Going into week 5 now, we're talking touchdowns, big plays, and even bigger wins. New customers can bet just $5 on any NFL team to win and get $200 in free bets if they do. And if that's not enough, everyone can boost their winnings with DraftKings stepped up same game parlays. Right now, for every leg you add, you can boost your winnings up to 100%. With payouts bigger than ever, why bet on football anywhere else? To make things even sweeter, you can throw down on stepped up same game parlays once per game day all season long. Now, here's how you get in on this action, everyone. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code TPPN to get $200 in free bets if your team wins when you place a $5 bet on any football game. That's promo code TPPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook and an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Okay, John, let's go and start wrapping this up. We've got a condensed week here, so I'll give you all the rundown of the shows and whatnot, but some takeaways from today, good, bad, ugly, and what you're looking forward to.
Yeah, I mean, we got to see basically a complete 180 from the defense this week. And again, it's like every week, it's like one thing, not necessarily one thing, but like things seem to be feeling like they're getting shored up, and then another area just pops up, and it's like, it's like the, you're sitting in that boat, that pontoon, right? And you're filling one hole. You're getting like multiple fingers in this one hole because it's the offense, right? The offense can't seem to get their crap together. And now the defense that is springing a leak. And it's just like, come on. Like we thought we had that like put together, and here we are. But exactly. we need to see that to come back. And look, it's the NFL. Like unfortunately, these games just also happen. Hopefully, when we look back in time, at the end of the season, we can just look at this and be like, that was just a bad week for us. And that could be the case for this defense. The other thing, though, is just, and we haven't even talked, Montreal Washington was huge this week from a punt return standpoint. He's looking like a beast, and I freaking love it because we have been missing that for years. So let's see more of that. The offense, though, I don't get it. For once, we got started early, and then we just took the pedal. We just lost momentum so quickly on offense. So we got to see that. I mean, yeah, for whatever reason, we're good for one good drive in the fourth quarter, apparently. But that cannot be our saving grace every single week.
After that, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that cannot be our only points in the second half of every single game. And for the last 2 weeks, honestly, like our only points for most of the game. So I loved what I saw early in the game.
Oh, sure.
We're gonna have to rely on Melvin Gordon. That's just where we're at.
Right.
From a running game perspective, which is scary, but like he's a professional. Hopefully he can get the fumbles under control and that won't be an issue this week. So I just want to see, at least 4 quarters of an offense. But again, we got 23 points, which is great, but the second half, it was almost non-existent from an offensive standpoint, except for the one drive.
Yep. Agreed. Look, I'll echo your thoughts on Washington. He keeps looking better and better, more comfortable, making better reads, quicker decisions, and he is going to get a kickoff return or punt return touchdown here soon, guys.
It's going to happen.
It is going to happen. It is going to happen. So just
two
wait for it.
Two people that I'm wondering if they even exist anymore. Albert O, where is he gone? Is he on the team anymore?
Yeah, but
he
didn't have any targets or anything.
Got targeted today.
I didn't even hear his name.
Yeah, and Chubb today. Where was Chubb today? Especially when Gregory went down. God, we needed that pressure on the.
Yeah, and he just couldn't get.
I don't
know if at that point,
maybe it wasn't his fault. Like honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. But those two guys at the beginning of the year, Albert O should be a freaking matchup nightmare for teams with his speed. And he's got good size. Like maybe it's just I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah. I'm looking here. I don't.
Albert O didn't have a target.
No, he had absolutely.
He had no statistics.
Nothing, but he was suited up and everything.
He played.
Yeah. But I'm just surprised he didn't have a single target the whole game. Okay. But yeah, look, it's not time to panic. 2-2, and to be honest, for new head coach, super young coaching staff, and inexperienced coaching staff, really fairly young and inexperienced team, brand new to the team, quarterback. First 4 games could have gone a whole lot worse.
True. True.
We could be 0-4 because some of those wins were very close. But here we are sitting at 2-2. Obviously, we would like to be better, but it is what it is right now. We're on pace for at minimum an 8-8, and I think we can do better than that once we start rolling. And I keep seeing improvement every week. Is it as fast as I'd like? No, but it is what it is, and I'm going to stick with the team and ride it out with them.
Is this a must-win this week, Kevin?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's an AFC game, but you go down to 2-3, you have a mini bye week. I think the Chargers game is a must-win.
Yeah, if we don't win this one, the Chargers, which I would feel much better going up against the Chargers 3-2 than 2-3, because that puts a lot less pressure on that game.
Yeah.
It's not a must-win because I don't like to over exaggerate things.
I get your point though.
Season.
Yeah.
I mean, people were calling the 49ers game a must-win.
It's game 3. It's
but with the way that, I mean, okay, the Colts did beat the Chiefs. Let's keep that in mind. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, all 32 teams are legit, and they can win any single week. It doesn't matter how. If you're the Texans, if you're the Colts, we are playing this week.
Right.
But we got to play. Like we can't play to our competition every single week. Like I would love to see a week where we
play our game,
are comfortable like in the fourth quarter, and we are like every week so far in this season. It's been like, okay, we're down by a point, maybe 2 points going into the fourth quarter, and it's like it feels like we're gonna figure it out and win. This week it didn't happen. it's so annoying when we lose those games.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see a complete game against the Colts, a winnable game for sure.
Look, the good thing is we're the home team, and the home teams on Thursday Night Football usually have a fairly good advantage. The thing we got to remember is the injuries, and we'll have to wait and see. This, so if you guys are listening to this on Monday afternoon, you might have a better idea than what we have right now when we're recording this on Sunday night. But that's going to definitely impact the betting lines. If we were traveling, I'd say for sure that's. But the fact we're home, okay, let's get these guys a couple days rest.
But with the guys that we we more than likely lost for this upcoming game, Gregory, Williams, we should still be able to put up a fight, and we should still be able to beat the Colts.
Yeah, exactly. Unless
we're just playing like crap, which is totally a possibility, or if they just come out and they fix a lot of their problems that they've been having. I feel a little bit better that we're playing the Colts this week and not going up against, say, the Chiefs or even the Chargers this week.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that those guys are going to be able to come back before that Chargers game, because then we are definitely going to need them, and it's a different story there. Agreed.
Well, I think that's all I had to say, man. Do you have any other closing thoughts?
I think we did it all. I think we touched on all of our negativity for today.
Sweet. Well, hey, there was some positivity in there. Again, Broncos country, stick with the guys, ride with the team.
Most points scored in a game so far this year.
Yeah, when's the last time we scored over 20 points?
That's progress.
It is. So, okay. Well, John, thank you very much, good sir. Hey, everybody. Again, we will still be doing all our content this week to include the Monday Night Orange Weekly After Dark show starting after Monday Night Football around 9 p.m. at Mountain Time. Tuesday night, Bourbon Broncos, no BS, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, followed immediately by one of the first ever live pregame podcasts. That'll be on YouTube. You guys can check that out, but then it'll be posted on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And then you can also check out the articles that David is writing on BroncosOrangeWeekly.com. And then it'll be game day, man.
Yeah.
So
come here
believe it or not,
pretty quickly.
There's no time to dwell on this loss, man.
Yeah.
It's time to beat the Colts.
We will move on, and we'll be better for it.
I love it. Okay, good sir. Nothing else to say. We'll end it as we always do on a very strong Go Broncos.
Go Broncos.
Take care, everyone.
Do what I like, yeah, I do what I like, yeah, I do what I like. Sipping goose, if it's right, and I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, yeah, they know I'm a pro.